Sorry?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
This is what I get for being old. We're going to call the meeting order at 6:30 p.m. Yeah, I apologize. Danny. So we have, I'm going to screw it up. Brian.
That's all right.
Brian Moscano,
There you go.
Stephen Zielinski, Dan Bachon.
Yeah.
Danny's going to be seated because again, Brian may have to depart before the meeting's over, and myself. So
You want to seat Dan for another member that's
I'm going to
here
seat him
in
for,
interim?
yes, please. I'm going to seat him for Stephen Stefanski.
Okay.
We have no additions to the agenda that I know of.
Nope.
And approval of minutes. Have you gentlemen had an opportunity to read the minutes? It was very, very short. Yes. It was.
I did read them on the email, so.
Anybody have any discussion about the minutes from last meeting?
No.
We have a motion.
Motion to accept or to approve the minutes.
Dan for a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And Stephen for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Ayes have it. Minutes are approved. Audience and citizens, nobody other than agenda folks. Who are here. We have no old business to discuss. And we help on moving the rate agenda. And so new business, let's roll right into it. Mr. Grenier is not here. So it's the issues, Mr. Carl Grenier, 333 Pendleton Hill Road, filling wetlands complaint. And let's start with the agent, Mr. Thoreau.
Yep. So I received a complaint from the adjacent property owner, to Mr. Grenier. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. However, he felt that there might have been the possibility of wetlands being filled in. I walked out there with him. He showed me a pile of construction debris that had not been pushed in yet. It was old historic material. Then, like I said, a couple weeks later here, I was notified again by the adjacent landowner that the area actually had been filled in. So I went out and inspected. Got some photos here. Some photos that I took. And I found that mainly construction, looks like concrete construction debris had been pushed into the wetland area. I inspected it. Not only is it a wetland area, I'm pretty sure it's probably functioning as a vernal pool. Right now is the time when the obligate vernal pool species are laying eggs. I didn't see any eggs in there yet, but I'm willing to bet that it's probably a vernal pool. I spoke with Carl. He mentioned to me the history, what was going on here back in 2009. I believe he sought permission from the commission at the time to fill in the area. They looked at it, and according to the meeting minutes, they looked at it. At that time, they didn't determine that it was actually a wetland, and they told them that that no permit was needed to work in that area. So that's basically where we're at. Again, it's my feeling that it is undoubtedly a wetland. I've been a soil scientist for 22 years. I'm willing to bet my credentials on it that it's a functioning wetland, if not a vernal pool. So if you look at the road bed that goes through there, it's a pretty big wide road bed. I don't know why he would need to fill it in to access the gravel bank area back there. I mean, obviously a triaxle truck can get in and out of there. One of the other issues is that because of the grading that's going on with that road bed, a lot of runoff is coming down the road and depositing directly in the wetlands as well. That's kind of a big no-no. So definitely something needs to happen out there at the very minimum, at least. We need to see some kind of engineering involved to dictate how to handle that runoff. There should be some sort of stormwater retention, drainage basins or something like that to intercept that water before it goes into that small wetland, especially if it's functioning as a vernal pool. Right now, the DEP recommends almost a 750-foot upland review area on a vernal pool. He's obviously worked directly in it. So my recommendation at this point would be to have a motion by the commission to issue a cease and desist order, that no other activity occur. Actually, a cease, desist, and restore order where the riprap and all the concrete gets removed, if not restored. I think it might be prudent to have a wetland scientist or biologist involved on Carl's part to give us recommendations on how to do that.
What does restoration look like?
Well, right now, I'm not sure if it was a man-made basin at one point or not. There's historic fill in there. It could have been an area that was just excavated for gravel, but now it's a basin. And to Mr. Grenier's testimony, it does dry up.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it could be functioning vernal habitat. That would mean recovering the material out of there and restoring, the original vegetation. And right now, it's inundated. It's probably 3, maybe even 4 feet of water in it right now. There's button bush in there, sedges, rushes, all typical wetland vegetation. So the process would be to put a sediment boom in there, remove the material, reseed it, restore the original topography, and
It looks like the crossing's dead center in the.
it's along the periphery. I looked at the site before that new material was put in. What you're looking at on that last page is all the sediment, sediment laden water that kind of infiltrated the rest of the pool. I'd have to say maybe 6 to 8 feet of the edge of that pool was filled. Something in that, just from my memory.
Joe, he essentially had all this material brought in.
Yes,
and
it was trucked in. It's obviously, if you look at it, it's all demolition material. It's rebar, concrete. It was demo material that was
And then-
rolled in there.
Put fill on top of it to create his roadway.
No,
No.
the roadway is still intact. This stuff was dumped adjacent to the roadway.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the road was there, but he added all that on the
Yep.
edge of it.
The complainant is pretty adamant about seeing something happen here. None of the fill materials are actually on the adjacent property. The property line is very well marked out because of past issues they've had with court actions and things like that. So the fill materials are on Carl's property. They're not on adjacent property, but the majority of the wetland or the vernal pool is actually on the adjacent property.
How long has it been like this?
This has only occurred maybe like a week
A
week or so.
Okay.
Prior to that, materials were dropped next to that pool, but they weren't pushed in. It was older concrete materials that I witnessed there that were not pushed in.
The original edge of the pool there was something like this.
Say again?
The original edge of where the pool was somewhere here. This is what he's felt.
Well, again, I don't know that it was an approval, but yeah, those, what we were looking at there, Steve, was done prior.
Okay.
The new chunky material there, that was all new. So, yeah.
Okay.
All the stuff with the paint on it. This is
Yeah.
new-
Yeah.
New material. And this is the neighbor's property, this one?
Further in, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
And we have a gentleman here that's gonna give us he has 40 years on this particular board, an enormous amount of experience and a wealth of information. He's gonna kind of give us some of the background on what has passed before. This has been, I think
90.
1990.
90, the first permit was issued to him. And it started back in the early 90s. In February 95, he applied for a water crossing permit. And the permit was issued in April of 95. It was supposedly good for 5 years. And then he was given a cease and desist order in March of 2002, but we lifted it in June of 2002. He had put asphalt, when you put the bridge in, if you're driving in, on the right-hand side, he put asphalt and gravel and stuff and wanted that, and we told him he had to put silt fence. We were gonna have him take the stuff out, but it was gonna be more of a disturbance taking the asphalt. It was only small asphalt, but it would contaminate the road. But we let it go and told him not to do it again. And nothing was done again for 26 years. Up until, say, November of 2016, Joe asked Carl if he had gotten an engineer and made an application. He didn't think he needed an engineer application to build a private road to a woodlot. He was asked how much of road was in wetlands. He said about 200 feet. There was an issue of dumping wetlands a few months back, and he was told to get an engineered drawing of any improvements he wanted to make and submit an application. Joe talked to the DEP, and they said they needed an application too. The original plan was engineered but not built to specs. Motion was made to get engineered site plan and reapply for permit. January 2017, letter was issued for presence at meeting, which he did not attend. He was asked 4 months prior, but nothing was done. Come up to the future.
Leave back the fact, but I believe in 2017, there was an indication that engineer was hired and that the work was done. Does anybody know if that work was put into the town?
Yep.
So we have an engineered site plan?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Do you recall if there was a permit pulled for in 16 or 17? I believe there was for town. Yes. Yep. Okay. So there was Carl's here. Carl, did you pull a DEP permit in 16 as well?
I don't know at this point.
Okay.
Been a long time.
Yes.
I didn't do anything after 2016, so I don't know at this point. Actually, the original contractor died, so it's pretty much been dormant.